Hi, I'm Lara, the owner and founder of Offspring Education, and you're tuning into episode number 3 in our Videos for Parents series. This one is the first part of a little mini series we're going to bring to you about language development. So let's get into it. Language development. There's 2 parts to language, and the first part is receptive language, which is everything that we hear, everything that we're listening to, everything that we comprehend and understand and draw meaning from. The next part is expressive language, and that is how we get our meaning out to the world. So it's not just about our speech though, it's about our body language, it's about our facial expressions, it's about any other way that we communicate. Did you know that when babies are born, they already have this amazing understanding about language? There have been studies done that show that babies actually can recognize their mother's voice as soon as they're born, and they prefer it. There are also studies that show that babies can actually recognize their home language as a preference as well. And it's not just really about the words in their home language, it's more just about the tone and the pitch and the rhythm that their mother has used as they've spoken it in utero that they really love. So given that, we kind of think to ourselves, oh, well, we don't really need to worry about language development until our babies are speaking, but we actually do. We need to be developing these babies' language skills right from the very moment they're born. So babies use language by crying when they want something, and we teach them so much by responding to that cry. So when we respond to a baby's cry, then they learn that their cry has meaning, that what they're doing actually will get a reaction from us, and that's a really powerful tool for communication. Babies also communicate using eye contact. When babies are really into something, when they are loving what you've put in front of them, then they will really focus on it with their eyes. They will pay such close attention to it. And then when they've had enough, when they're a bit tired, when they're a bit over it, they'll look away. That is how babies communicate with eye contact. So the other way that babies use language are all those gorgeous little sounds they make, that little cooing that they do, the babbling that they do. And when they start to put vowels and consonants together, and they'll explore with their voice, they'll use different pitches and different tones and make these noises for different lengths. And all of those things are them mimicking what we do for them. They're just trying to get an idea of, well, if I do this with my tongue, what sound does it make? And what response can I get from it? Babies will also communicate with their whole body. I had the privilege of holding a little 10-month-old baby yesterday, and some music came on, and he spent the whole time jiggling around, moving his arms up and down, and just trying to move as much as he possibly could with the music because he was happy, and that was how he was communicating his happiness. When we respond to all of these little sounds that our babies make and all of these little movements that our babies make, then we teach them this really crucial element of turn taking in conversation, and also that what they're doing will get a response from us. And that is the main thing that we can teach babies about language. So let's look at how we're going to do that. So the main thing that babies need to get a solid grasp on their language development is for us to speak to them. So child-directed language is pivotal for babies. There's been a study shown that actually shows that there's a huge difference in the amount of words that babies hear per day between families. So some babies will hear about 600 to 700 words per day in a family, and other babies might hear 12,000 words per day. And it's the babies who hear the most words that are directed at them who develop those language skills. Labeling is another really important thing that we can do for babies, and I don't mean getting your label gun out and creating labels and sticking them on everything that your baby uses. That's not going to work. I mean, when a baby reaches for the ball, say, there's your ball. Or when you go and get a nappy for them, say, here's your nappy. So using those nouns as labels for objects really develops a child's knowledge that objects have names, and that's crucial for language development. The next thing that we can do to foster this language development in babies is just describe everything that we do in our day to them. Describe everything that they're doing as they play. The more language that we use for them to describe what they're doing, the more valuable it is for them. And you can sound like a bit crazy when you're walking around the house and it's just you and your baby and you are yabbering away at them, but it's all really important for their development. Something that I used to do to kind of add a bit of fun to it is to sing about what we were doing as we were walking through the house. So get your sing voice on and get it happening. You've got to add some fun into it. Another thing that you can try with your baby is reading. So you might sit there and say to me, but Lara, my baby can't read. Why would I do that? It's not about the reading per se. It's just about them getting child-directed language from you to them through the use of a book. And there are some really great books that we've got on our website about animals that babies love. You can also use cloth books or books in the bath as well. What I don't recommend is flashcards. So please don't buy your baby flashcards. They don't need it. So flashcards have no context for language. What babies need is language with context so that they can understand that their language is how they can make meaning of the world around them. So now you've got a few ideas as to how you can foster language development in your baby. I'm Lara from Offspring Education, and stay tuned for our next video where we'll be exploring language development for toddlers.